Hey there, welcome to the Babbling Grapefruit. As I'm quarantined, as we're all, sitting at home, I tend to spend my time thinking about the things that I'm happier about being at home at and finding those, silver linings. And then obviously the things that you miss from not being at home. And, I think I found one that falls into both categories. Right? I think I found one that I both miss terribly, but I also am so glad I don't have to deal with anymore. And that's small talk. I have an issue with small talk. I think a lot of people have, issues or don't enjoy small talk or are uncomfortable with small talk. I definitely put myself into the category of one that is uncomfortable with small talk. I love talking. They don't call me the Babbling Grapefruit for nothing. But at the same time, I don't like talking about nothing. I like talking about the mundane details of life. I like talking about going into depth on things that are maybe to most people don't mean anything. But that's not small talk. Small talk is talking about the weather. As soon as I hear someone talking about the weather, I'm out of there. And I think it's super annoying to deal with small talk, and especially there's two places where small talk really are the worst. One is with strangers. So I'm trying to think of a new rule for our society. When we get back to talking regularly and speaking with people and, having that regular interaction, right? And one of those things is that if you're a stranger and I don't know you and I say to you, "How are you?" you're allowed 3 words in return. One to describe how you're feeling, and it has to be anywhere from fine to better. It can only be fine and up. If you go bad, if I say, "How are you?" and you're a stranger and you tell me, "Actually, pretty rough day," you're a jackass. I don't want to hear it. Okay? I don't care. I don't want to hear your life story. I'm not here for that. I say, "How are you?" as a pleasantry. You say, "Fine, good, great, fabulous, amazing, incredible." You can go as high as you want. Just don't go worse than fine. Fine is the worst you're allowed to be when I ask you how you are. Second word you're allowed, and. Fine, and. Third word you're allowed, you. And in return, I will say something fine or better. Usually I say, "I'm great." And that's it. Then we move on with our lives. Then I get my sandwich made by you, and I go home to my family where I can have a more meaningful conversation. Well, I'm not in it to have a conversation with you. I'm here because I want my sandwich made. I'm here because I'm picking up my dry cleaning. I don't know, whatever I'm doing. I'm not here to have a little chit chat with you, bud. Okay? There's one time, everyone loves a buffet, right? Love a buffet. Best part of the breakfast buffet? Omelet bar. I'm at the omelet bar. So it's always an awkward moment for small talk. And again, it's with a stranger. So I get to the bar. He's making the omelet. And I said to him, "How are you?" Because that's what you say. And instead of saying "fine" and "you," he said, "I'm actually pretty upset today. My girlfriend left the dog in the car without rolling down the window." And while I find his girlfriend's actions to be reprehensible and wrong, don't get me wrong, I don't support that sort of behavior. I also don't support him telling me his life story. Because how do I respond to that? "Oh my gosh, what did you do? What did you say to her? What happened next?" I don't want to know. I don't want to be involved in his dispute with his girlfriend over the dog. What he should have said is, "Fine. Would you like mushrooms in this omelet?" That's what he should have said. It's enough already. So I propose that in the future, we even shorten this conversation. We get rid of the "how are you?" And I walk in to a sandwich shop and the person just looks at me and says, "Good, and you?" And I say, "Good." And we move on with our bloody day. That's my solution. I don't want to hear how you are because I simply put do not care. I don't care. Now, if that person wants to have a real in-depth conversation with me about something important, I might be interested. But probably not. You know what? I take that back. I'm not interested. I got things to do. I'm moving on with my day. I'll have those in-depth conversations with somebody else. So that's the first small talk issue. Second small talk issue is with someone you haven't seen in a really long time. You haven't seen them in a really long time. Maybe you were friends a decade or more ago, and you haven't seen them for a long time. And that person always asks this their own question, right? They always ask the same question to me as well. And their question is, so what do you do these days? What do you do for a living? What do you make your work at? How do you make your money? It's a little inappropriate. It's a little forward. And what I really find it to be is a gut check. Basically, what they're asking that question for is to find out, does this person make more or less money than I do? So if I answer back and I say I'm a doctor, they'll probably say, wow, great, I'm so happy for you. That's amazing, incredible. But they'll walk away sad, right? Saying, oh, I bet, how did he become a doctor? He was such a jerk. How could he be a doctor now? I hate to have him as my doctor. And then be upset that they're not a doctor. But if I say I'm a Manny. If I said I was a Manny, then he walks away going, that guy can't make more than $15 an hour. Look at me, I'm my horse, I'm a big shot. It's really, I don't think anybody asked that question with a genuine wondering of what I do for work. I don't think they actually care. They just want to see, did he end up better or worse than I thought? And am I better or worse than him? That's all they care about. That's all they're asking the question for. They're not in it about me. They don't give a shit about me. They don't care if I'm making a good living. They don't care if I'm happy. They don't follow up that. When I say I'm a doctor, they don't follow up with a question with saying, and are you happy? Is that what you want to be? They don't give a shit. They don't care about me. No. All they want to do is compare themselves to me and hope they end up on the right side of history. And then you know what the worst thing is? Well, I used to be a plumber. And I'd answer that question. I'd say, I'm a plumber. And you know what they'd say always? Good for you. Good for you. Worst response. Drove me up the wall. Oh, then they'd say, people always need a plumber. And it always made me feel like their thought was, oh, good for him. He actually got a job. Congratulations. You make money. Oh my God. And then they say, oh, they always need a plumber because I couldn't have found a job for something that isn't an absolute essential, because nobody would just have me work for them if it wasn't absolutely an essential thing where everyone takes a shit every day, so they need a plumber. Good for you. And maybe that's my own inferiority complex talking, Sometimes as I talk these things out, I think out loud and I realize, maybe I got some real shit going on in my head. It could be possible. Probable, maybe. But nonetheless, good for you, they would say. And I would hate that. And it's almost like you wipe your own ass. Good for you. Like you accomplished some monumental task. Good for you. No, man, I just work. I do my job. Like I got up and go to work like everybody else and I come home. What's the big freaking deal? That's the end of it. So that always upsets me. And, before I do eat this last little bit of grapefruit and sign off for the day, I just wanted to ask, do me a favor. I'm only going to do this very rarely, but hit the subscribe button. Do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. I hope you'll continue to come along the journey as I learn about myself and the world. And, I want to come up with ideas with all of you, but I would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. So thank you for that. I'm going to eat this last piece. Grapefruit's done. So am I. See you in a couple days.